Hi Reddit, throwaway account because I cannot have anyone I know seeing this. I'm 31M. My younger brother, 29M, has been the golden child my entire life. Every accomplishment he made was celebrated like he cured cancer, and every little thing I did was ignored or belittled. My parents never seemed proud of me. I was always the outsider, the kid who had to prove himself over and over again. The breaking point came when I turned 18. I got accepted into a prestigious college. I expected maybe a card, a small family dinner, something. Instead, I walked into a full-blown party. For my brother. Cake, balloons, his friends, his favorite music, all for him. I confronted my parents, why isn't there a celebration for me? They said, we didn't want him to feel left out. You're doing fine. Instead of focusing on yourself, uplift your brother. That shattered me. That night, I decided I would never rely on them again. I worked my way through college with part-time jobs, night shifts, and student loans. I rented tiny apartments, lived frugally, and kept my head down. I moved on, but I never forgot. Years passed. I got married to someone who seemed perfect, supportive, funny, genuinely kind. Life was finally mine. Then, unexpectedly, my brother reached out online. He said our parents wanted to reconnect. Something in me hesitated. I remembered the past. But I agreed. Maybe this time could be different. Mistake number 1. I invited my parents and my brother to my home. Initially, things were awkward but civil. My parents seemed like they were trying, and I wanted to believe them. My wife, sweet and trusting, welcomed them warmly. Everything seemed normal. Until my brother and my wife started talking more privately, laughing at jokes that weren't funny, exchanging glances I didn't understand. A few weeks later, my wife told me she was pregnant. I was over the moon. I imagined a happy family. My brother visited more often after that. At first, I thought it was harmless support, but then it started feeling off. He'd linger near her, talk to her stomach, make jokes that felt too personal. My gut twisted in knots. After months of growing suspicions, I couldn't pretend anymore that everything was fine. My heart raced whenever I saw my brother spending way too much time at my place, acting like he belonged in a family that never really accepted me. Late one night, I quietly checked my wife's phone, and what I saw shattered me. She had been texting my brother for months. Every single message confirmed my worst nightmare. They were together, and they planned to hide it from me until the baby was born. This wasn't just cheating, it was a calculated betrayal, like some twisted game they had been playing behind my back. The next morning, I confronted her. Is this true? Are you with him? At first, she denied it. I could see her eyes darting, looking for excuses. But the truth came out. She confessed. In one moment, I lost 2 years of marriage. Everything we had built together was a lie. And my brother, the person I thought was family, turned out to be an enemy I never chose. When I tried to tell my parents, their reaction broke me all over again. They immediately sided with my brother and my wife, claiming it was for my own good, insisting I should be happy they found happiness. I realized that the love and support I had longed for my entire life were just empty words. The divorce was brutal. My ex walked away with a huge settlement. I lost a significant amount of my savings, but at least I kept the house. All that was left was pain and betrayal. I threw myself into work, trying to drown out the emotional turmoil. And it worked. 2 weeks ago, I got promoted, better position, higher salary, and all the perks. I wanted to celebrate with a solo dinner, to finally feel some happiness again. But of course, my mother found out. Learning about my promotion, she immediately started pressuring me for money, for a family that had always betrayed me. I tried to ignore her calls, but she eventually showed up at my office, causing a scene that was utterly humiliating. Reluctantly, I agreed to visit them at home, thinking it would be a short, controlled meeting. When I arrived at my parents' house, I found them settled in a bigger home, clearly using the alimony my ex-wife was receiving to upgrade their lifestyle. The baby, just a few weeks old, added even more chaos to the scene. My brother wasn't home, and my ex-wife was asleep, so it was just my parents. I stayed silent, letting them speak first, waiting for them to get to the point. After a tense 5 minutes, my father finally blurted out. "Your brother lost his job. We're struggling. We heard about your promotion. Can you help us?" I was stunned. After everything, after years of mistreatment, after supporting the wrong side in my divorce, they had the audacity to ask me for money. I stayed calm at first, letting the weight of their hypocrisy sink in. But inside, anger boiled. I left without a word, stepping out into the pouring rain. My brother suddenly appeared, blocking my path, trying to plead with me directly. For the first time, I saw the arrogance crack. He was genuinely desperate. But all I could think about was how they had spent my entire life treating me like an outsider, and now they expected my generosity? Not a chance. I told them, bluntly, that they could beg on the streets if they were really in trouble. That struck a nerve. My brother tried yelling, even grabbing me briefly, but my father restrained him just in time. I refused to engage. Watching them, soaked and furious, trying to manipulate me, I felt a rare satisfying sense of control. 2 days later, my mother bombarded me with non-stop messages, trying to guilt-trip me. My conscience fought me, wondering if I should just send them some money. But then I remembered everything they had done to me, how they sided with my brother and my ex, how they trashed my reputation during my divorce. I stood firm. My brother came by a few days later, trying again. He even claimed I was jealous and that I should stop holding grudges and just help them out. I laughed in his face. I told him to find a job instead of begging, and he stormed off, fuming. His threats meant nothing to me. Then my ex-wife called. She tried her usual manipulations. She reminded me of the family struggles, tried to guilt me, even cried on the phone. I stayed composed. I reminded her I was already paying alimony, which was far more than she deserved, given her betrayal. She sobbed, shouted, and claimed she would take me to court for more. But this time, I was ready. I gathered evidence. Friends, cousins, and witnesses stepped forward, corroborating the lifelong mistreatment and my ex-wife's infidelity. I hired my lawyer, prepared every detail meticulously, and ensured nothing would go in their favor. Finally, the court ruled in my favor. No more alimony. My ex-wife was defeated, my family humiliated, and for the first time in my life, I felt free from their toxicity. Walking home, I felt the weight lift. But of course, my brother and parents made one last desperate attempt, showing up at my door. I warned them to leave. My father tried lecturing me about responsibility, my mother tried to shame me, and my brother even tried to grab me again. I stood my ground, silent, refusing to give them the satisfaction. Eventually, begrudgingly, they left. Now, a day later, silence reigns. No calls, no messages. For the first time, I am free to live my life without constant manipulation. And honestly, it's more satisfying than anything else I've ever felt.